to be precisely said, it is not a technology, it is a culture, it is a practice wherein it involves a life cycle called DevOps. So, life cycle called DevOps in the sense it involves a life cycle which ensures a complete deployment of a product
Okay.
end to end, right from the start of the code to the deployment nature to the customer. Fine. Able to understand now, like what
Yeah.
we mean by DevOps? Okay.
Yeah.
Say another question now. I am just rising to you to make you curious. Uh, so now DevOps is a culture and DevOps is the practice, and you guys know like what do you mean by DevOps? So if you are knowing, say for example, Nadia, so you are actually having a hands-on experience in Puppet, and say for example if you're having some experience in operation side like VMware, and then some kind of storage part, so and some kind of hands-on in Python, right? So you are actually a bit into like knowing the DevOps things, the little kind of technologies which deals with DevOps life cycle. So in that case, will you be calling you as a DevOps engineer? So can you, I mean, claim you as a DevOps engineer if you are knowing some development part of things and if you're knowing some operation part of things? How would Pooja
Mm,
or Nadia? So you are if that in that position. So you are knowing scripting language and you are knowing some development language and you are also knowing some kind of things in operation mode.
Yeah, still you'll be a DevOps engineer, isn't it? Like,
Uh, okay, okay. Right. So Nadia's answer is like, yeah, I can be calling myself as a DevOps engineer, right? Okay. How about Puja?
I think DevOps in the sense is an end-to-end process. If we know all the things, then we will be called as DevOps engineer.
Hmm. Okay,
My
okay, fine. Okay, great. So, it's nothing like we can't actually claim ourselves as a DevOps engineer because uh, the DevOps is a culture or is a practice wherein it involves multiple tools to get that particular, I mean, destination to be achieved. For example, if a product, say for example, there is a switch, say for example, Cisco switch or Dell switches, right? So for that, your team is actually working on development of an OS image for that. So in that case, for development of that OS image, first of all, the OS image has to be released in the market, right? So
mm,
for that, what kind of task or what kind of cycle or what kind of procedure uh, the team, the entire team who is actually, I mean, who are actually working for the development of that OS image will go. So what they'll be actually doing is like they'll be undergoing all this process like plan, code, build, test, and release and deploy, and then operator and monitor. Okay, so this complete life cycle, the entire team in the sense the entire company, I'm saying, so entire company which is having chunks of teams, which wherein the chunks of teams will be involved in specific tasks of that product to be achieved. Okay, so you may claim as a part of DevOps team, not a DevOps engineer. Okay,
mm,
so that's what actually I just want to make you understand like what is DevOps, and I mean, like if you are knowing some kind of technologies and can you be proclaimed or can you be claimed as a DevOps engineer or not? So that's where actually people, I mean, get confused like whether I can claim myself as a DevOps engineer or I'm being an engineer as a part of DevOps team. So I'm being an engineer as a part of DevOps team is the right way to answer it, right?
okay.
Okay, so hope you are able to understand like, I mean, you are able to follow up, right? Uh,
Yes.
Pooja?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. How about Nadia?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, great. So now, see this picture, right? So this picture actually shows you about a DevOps life cycle. Right. So, um, DevOps life cycle, something kind of you are actually, I mean, you are being shown as an image like this is a DevOps life cycle. So, if you if you keenly watch this picture, have you come across this sign before in your earlier, kind of college days or school days? This sign, see,
Hmm.
this one is going like this,
Yes.
going like this.
No idea.
Mm.
Okay, how about Pooja?
No.
So, have you come across the term called uh, infinity?
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Right. So, you guys have come across this in
okay.
your earlier
Infinity.
classes
Yeah.
of schools or colleges, I'm sure, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So, DevOps is an infinite loop. Why is we so called DevOps as an infinite loop? The next question arises. Yes. So now I'll be telling you an example like how the enterprise, I mean, how the product gets deployed using DevOps lifecycle in an enterprise level. So having said that, first of all, say for example, um, you are a part of company. Of course, you are a part of company, and then in your company there would be a project management team. So that project management team, what their role is about, they will be actually interacting with the customers, and they will be interacting with the customers regarding the product which they want to deliver to the customer, and that customer will be actually asking what kind of environment you are having. So such kind of what is your environment, and how would the resources, what how you are actually going to utilize it, and what kind of um, what kind of technology you are going to use, and how you are going to give me a product, and within what SLA. Such kind of negotiations or such kind of interactions will be happening between the project manager and the customer. So the customer here is the requirement giver. So having said that, he is a requirement giver. So wherein there will be a sign off of functional requirement and NFR. So, first of all, the customer will provide an NFR, and then the functional requirement based upon our resources, the project manager will provide the functional requirement to customer. So the terms like NFR or FR, nothing to worry about that. It's nothing but
Mm.
a document kind of thing which will be shared between the customer and the project manager. Project manager, in the sense like he holds the tag of the company and he represents the company. So here the project manager can be claimed as a company. Okay, so between the company and the customer, right? So now, so what happens is like the customer will be actually providing some requirement. So the project manager, he will be collecting the requirement and he will be analyzing it, and he will be sharing that to the technical engineers or the teams which can do the particular requirement. So that is the planned state, wherein the project manager will plan and he will provide the based upon the requirement, he will provide the details to the team. The team, in the sense like technical engineers who are going to work on that task. So that is the planning part. Okay. Uh, the next part is like once, say for example, now what we are actually looking into is like the customer requirement, maybe like developing an OS image for a networking devices. See, let's take that. Okay, so now the customer is providing some requirement like my OS image, when it's built and when it's getting deployed or to my switch or to the networking devices, it should work as so and so. what kind of protocols has to be included, what kind of um, security has to be included, and what kind of technology has to be included. So such kind of requirements will be provided to the customer, to the project management. So the project management, what he actually does is like he will plan and he will provide the requirement to the technical engineers, and he'll be segregating the task between the technical engineers, and uh, and then once it's been done, the technical engineers will come into role and they will start coding. So the planning is done, and now the technical engineers comes and starts coding. So the technical engineers, like for example, if a team is having 5 members, and the 5 members each team, say for example A, B, C, D, and each team is having given some task to be developed. So each team will be having some number of members, and that some number of members will be actually working for the development of code. Okay, so the each team members will be developing some feature, uh, so that for the OS to be uh, bought out. Okay, so the OS image, uh, to get the OS image, each team member or each uh, teams will be coming up with some code. Okay, that's what the code development happens, simple as such. And then once the code is developed, what will be the next step? Like we need to build the code. So build the code is nothing but we have to collect all the feature developed by each team, and we have to build, so that we compile it, and we will get a binary kind of thing in the form of an image. And that image, once it is been brought out, it has to be tested, the next part. Okay, so the testing part, what happens, the team, there will be a separate team. So you would have come across in your company, like there is a testing team doing a quality testing, and there is a testing team doing a manual testing, and there is a testing team doing an automated testing. Such kind of testing, what they do actually do. So when a product or when a binary image has been released in this example what we are seeing, so what happens is like the binary image which we actually get, the testing team would test with a benchmark limit. So benchmark limit is nothing but uh, an image. The image has been produced from the build, and the team who is going to test that image will ensure that the quality of that image which has been built is good, first of all. So how they will mark the quality of the image to be good? By having some tests, like protocol testing, and like load balancing testing, like config maps testing, such kind of testings. So nothing but like it's a configuration level of testings. And also, like for example, they will be actually testing this image by deploying into a sample kind of network device, and a testing device, and they'll be just spinning up uh, many many protocol things. They will be actually using it, and they'll be also they'll be generating some traffics, so that how this OS is sustainable. So that kind of testing actually they will be making, so that they have to ensure like till what level the OS is sustainable. Say for example, if the traffic or if the packet limit crosses 200 plus, so in that case the O8 sustainability actually reduces. How it reduces? If the OS crashes, so in that case they will be creating a benchmark report, like okay, so for example, if the traffic is generated more than 200 packets, and in that case the OS which has been built now is not sustainable and it's crashing. So that is a benchmark report. So for each kind of images which are being built and which are being produced, that will be tested with respect to quality, with respect to configuration, with respect to protocol, and with respect to the benchmark. The performance. Okay, so such kind of testing happens. So that's where the testing engineer comes into picture. So that is the text test kind of step. So the next step, what happens once now the testing has been done? So now it has to be released to the portal, right? So once it is getting released to the portal, the people or the customer would be having the access to download the image. That is one. But before bringing to the customer point of view, the the team actually who are working for this, right, they'll be having a particular beta kind of portal wherein the image will be uploaded there, and I mean released there with the beta release, and then the engineers will try to deploy that image which is being uploaded in the beta release, and just they will do the operation kind of thing, and they will test like what kind of things will be I mean how the performance would be there for the customer in the beta release in the enterprise level, I'm saying. But here what happens, like once the portal say for example the portal it may be a beta release portal or it may be to the customer release portal. So actually once the testing is been done, it actually gets into both the portals. One is beta, I mean the release of the engineers, and also to the release of the customer. So the customer point of view, once it is getting released, right, say for example a customer is the customer which is which they provided our as the requirement, right? So they will be having the network devices. So once our image has been deployed, we will be having an I mean, email triggered to them like the image is being available now in this portal. So what the customer will do, they will actually create a case call with us, and they will be working with us, and we will be providing a professional support to ensure that the particular image which has been loaded, which has been tagged with the test with all the qualities to the customer portal, that will be downloaded, and with the professional support the customer will be deploying the particular image on their networking switches. So once it's been deployed, what will happen? Obviously the network device is now in the operation mode. So when it is in operation mode, what happens? When it is in operation mode, say for example, here I would like to say a kind of layman's example, wherein for example, if you guys actually buying or booking a flat, okay, so booking a flat, and that flat would be maintained by the builder for a particular year, right? So in that case, when the operation um, when the OS is being deployed to the particular networking device of the customer, what happens is like we will be providing the support to the customer. Okay, so we will be providing support to the customer. So if there is any operational kind of things, and if there is any kind of alerts triggered for any kind of uh, I mean issue, say for example the alerts can be triggered in the form of the network packages is exceeding, or there is a network drop, or there is port mapping issue, or a VLAN configuration issue, such kind of issues actually. So at the high level, what we can say is some issues has been triggered during the operation. So at that level, what would be my next step? So the people or the technical engineer, since they provide the support for a particular period of time, though the product has been deployed to the customer point of view, um, we used to use some kind of monitoring tools to monitor the product, right? So before the I mean before the saying of an issue from the customer end, we technical engineers, we will find the alert in our monitoring tool, and we will try to rectify that using our support team. So again, what happens? So the access or the issue would be also known to the customer as well as to the engineers. So in that case, now the monitoring stage has been completed. And the monitoring stage, what happens, like our engineer will be actually working on the issue which is actually been triggered from the networking devices, uh, wherein the customer is in using and it is operational, right? So now After that, customer analyzes the report. Say for example, this VLAN configuration issue is coming, is reoccurring uh, in 3 weeks intervals of time. So having said that, like there is some frequency of this issue, and that has been triggered for and that has been triggered recursively. So in that case, I need to fix that. So customer is coming and saying that I need to fix this problem immediately so that my production does not get impacted. So for that, what happens? He will come and approach the project manager. So again, what happens? The stage one actually comes into picture. That is planning. So again, what happens? The customer requirement will be taken care by the project management team, and the project manager, what he will do, he will analyze and he will again do the same task what we actually discussed before. So likewise, the cycle goes on. So that's why the DevOps life cycle is also known as, I mean, it's an infinite loop, and which involves different steps or uh, different procedures with different tools. So having said all these things, the major tool which we actually use in our enterprise level for the deployment, for the code, for the build, for the test are all given here. So basically, when you're getting into the code platform, code stage, Git or Jira or Eclipse can be used. In enterprise level, Git. So Git is nothing but it's a version control tool wherein the people who are actually working in different platforms, they'll be actually coding the same file. I mean, they'll be actually writing the code with the name of the same, I mean, with the same name, and that would be actually uh, how we can come across, like say for example, if you're writing a code with a file name called hello world.yaml. Okay, so
Mm.
if another engineer is also coming and he is actually, I mean, of your team, and he is also writing a code in the same file, because the feature is developed in the same file name, and that has to be host. So in that case, how would you differentiate the changes what been done from an engineer to engineer? So for that, we actually go with version control tool. So the major version control tool which enterprise level uses or Git and GitLab or TFS or uh, Atlassian tool like Stash or Bitbucket. Yeah. So then the build structure actually comes into picture, wherein the build takes care by the major enterprise tools like Apache Ant, Maven, Gradle, and the testing part like Selenium you would have come across how the testing part actually go on. So Selenium, JUnit, and so. And for release part, Jenkins, an orchestration tool, will be used, or Bamboo from Atlassian platform can be used. In the enterprise level, these both are actually getting used. So in basically in most of the product-based companies, they use Bamboo, the Atlassian support, as well as Jenkins. So then here comes the deployment, wherein the configuration, the deployment tool can otherwise called as configuration management tool, wherein the once the product is released, we need to ensure that that is being deployed in multiple networking devices or multiple products. Okay, so for that we actually get into the configuration management tool. So in these configuration management tools, say for example Puppet, Chef, Ansible, and SaltStack are the major enterprise holders, wherein we are actually going to look on Ansible, wherein the Ansible can act as both configuration management tool as well as infrastructure as a code. So infrastructure as a code in the sense we can spin up multiple VMs using Ansible also. It can also support AWS instances as well as Google instances. So that's a major feature why Ansible gets hit in the market. Okay. So then after that, the operation mode is there is no tool has to be used because there is an operation mode kind of thing wherein some kind of monitoring tools to will be taken care of the alerts. So the monitoring tools, Nagios is the major enterprise one, and then the recently emerging one is Splunk, Sensu, and Neuralink. Okay. So likewise, these are the major tools wherein DevOps architecture or DevOps lifecycle actually holds on, and yeah, so enterprise level they actually use these kind of tools to ensure that the product has been deployed properly to the customer. So having said that, so this is an actually an introduction part where we actually covered we actually discussed about like what is DevOps and what do you mean by DevOps and how the life cycle of the DevOps goes into enterprise level and how what technologies we are actually going to look into in our future sessions. So yeah, so do you have any queries, uh, Nadia and Pooja? So at the high level, I just had an introduction part here. So do you have any queries?
Is Jira as a part of coding?
Yes. So Jira, it kind of a repository wherein
Yeah.
yeah. So Jira can be also used as a ticketing tool.
Okay.
So majorly, Jira is used in the enterprise level for ticketing tool and
Yeah.
for repository.
Okay.
Hello. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Narendra.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I am able to hear you.
Okay. So just want to add something on Jira. So basically, Jira is kind of a agile tool. Okay, where teams use to collaborate each other with multiple team members, like Scrum board, and create Jira's task and maintain user stories, task. Okay. It's kind of an integration tool. Basically, it's a ticketing tool, as Bala said, but basically it is not a defect or defect tracking or something like that. It is basically requirements tracking, like user stories, tags, task, and other things between different teams.
Okay.
So you know about agile, right? Like agile is having kind of a sprint, like 2 weeks or 4 weeks, something like that, right? So those kind of sprints are being managed in Jira.
Okay.
So any doubts, Nadia and Pooja?
No.
No.
I have seen this Nagios and Netcool. Like Netcool was also one of the tool for monitoring.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've seen those tool.
Okay. Okay. So that all comes as a part of DevOps lifecycle.
Okay.
So you have experience on Nagios?
Yeah, Nagios. That is a very old tool, isn't it? Because Nagios, that time we had Nagios as well as XML, which is a new tool for that time. We had Unix, and then it was changed to Linux, like because all the old one was with Nagios, and the new one with XML we had for
Actually,
monitoring.
Nagios latest version is XI. Though it's Nagios is been emerging for a longer period of time,
Yeah.
the new tool, I mean the new version, the Nagios actually introduces Nagios XI, wherein the integration of SMS gateway and other stuff can be actually taken care.
Okay.
And yeah, so many kind of tools enterprise actually uses, but mostly if you come across right in the enterprise level, the Nagios would be the tool which they prefer and they'll be using for a longer period of time. So if you're taking a banking sector or if you're taking a product-based companies lineups, mostly they'll be coming up with Nagios, and also some of the other monitoring tools like Splunk or Sensu or New Relic, or as you said, like some of the XML part of right. So it can be also used. Yeah.
Okay.
So any queries or any kind of things to be discussed before we start with the session, probably tomorrow or next week. Yeah.
No.
No.
Hello.
Yeah, Bola, I think shall we start from tomorrow? So,
Yeah, that's what I'm just asking them. Like,
I just want to so are you guys available weekdays?
Yes.
Naren, I'm the timing is the main thing, Naren, for me, because as I told you, 6 to 8 in the morning should be fine for me, like UK time, because 9 o'clock, 8:30 also fine, but
Yeah, I
9 o'clock,
understand that. So,
yeah.
Pooja, so are you available weekdays?
No. I'm also available in weekdays.
Weekdays, what is your availability? What is your timing?
If anytime also I will comfortable because when I'm not in work from home till now, I'm doing some document work also, so I will manage.
Okay. So if that is the case, for weekdays, it will be kind of 11:30 to 12:30. Okay, it is like 7 to 8 in
Oh,
the
perfect.
UK time. So it will be
Okay.
like 11:30 to 12:30.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
weekdays, weekend mostly it will be like 2:30 p.m. IST to 4:30 or 3 to 5.
Okay.
Okay.
I
It
don't
will
have
be like,
any issues on weekend, Naren. Weekend any time is fine for me, so I don't mind. Like I'll be at home only. I won't be going anywhere.
yeah.
So
Actually,
you can.
Bala is conducting another UK session, right? So he is
Okay.
conducting at around 12:30 to 2:30. So he may
Okay.
need some 30 minutes break in between. So it will be like 3 to 5, 3 to 5 IST,
Yeah.
and it will be like I think 10:30. I think so. It's the same time what we have right now, 3 to 5 or 10:30, right now 10:30 to 12:30.
Okay. Anytime you text in that group, Naren. Anytime is
Yeah,
fine
yeah.
for me.
I'll do the schedule actually. Okay.
Yeah. So perfect. It will
Uh,
be
y-
perfect. Yeah.
yeah, I'll do the schedule before one day. Okay.
Mm.
And you can, if needed, we can postpone sessions if you are not available or something. Okay. So that's
For
not an
in
issue
UK,
actually.
definitely it's going to lockdown. Going to be there 3 months anyway. Definitely.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. I'll try to schedule something tomorrow. I'll discuss with Bala and confirm with you. Okay.
Tomorrow, so there is a session, right? Tomorrow.
Yes, we can kickstart. We can start from tomorrow. Slowly, maybe
yeah. So yeah, that's what actually we are seeking. I mean, how was the class? I mean, how was the introduction session from our side from
Actually, I
Egypt?
was pretty impressed, Bala, with the session because little bit I'm able to get into. You gave a very good explanation in all the areas. To be fair, I was quite impressed. I was thinking how it's going to go because after it's going to be like. Though I was in IT for nearly 7 years, but it's not like a proper. I had a proper training to go into different like like. To like what I can say is like how to improve myself in a different. I have tried another tool like no, I used to learn CCNA, but even that training was not that good to be fair. But this gives me a very good explanation to be fair.
Okay. Okay. So how about Pooja?
Yeah, I'm clear about what you thought now, because I'm in DevOps. I'm in the part of deployment, and in that also we didn't use these tools. Now only I'm able to know these many cycles there. We'll follow up that. I'm able to understand what you're saying.
Okay, so you guys are okay for the session. So to kickstart, right, from
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Okay.
Great. So keep thinking and keep exploring. Let's meet in the next session with great exploration and to be having as a VGrow tag. Let's be interactive as much as we can and let's learn together as well
Okay.
as we will have a tech fun around, right? So, yeah, so that's the update from my side. So,
thanks,
probably,
Bala. So I just want to
yeah.
ask one
So
thing.
let's meet.
Like,
Narendra will be scheduling, and we'll be having the discussion, and we'll be posting the schedule. So, post which you can actually join the call tomorrow. Okay.
yes, Bala. Yeah, thanks for the wonderful session. And I would like to, say again, if any of your friends are interested, please refer us. Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah, this is really going to be a interactive session. And also, why I'm insisting is So if you are able to form a close group, like 1 or 2 members within yourself, like it will be like very helpful for you basically to discuss and work on some assignments. Okay, even if you work alone, it will be very difficult. So maybe, so that's what UK team is doing actually. So they are able to connect. I mean, they didn't know each other, but they are able to connect very well even after training hours, and they would be able to like join online and work on the assignments and like it's like they're able to like I mean do the things very quickly. So that's one of the thing I'm insisting. So see if any of your friends are interested. I mean, if if so, please let me know. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks,
I
Mola.
can,
Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, I will schedule the update the session.
Thank you, Naren.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Nadia, do you want to say something? Anything about?
No, no, no. Actually, I have informed my friends, but what they're saying is first you get into the technology and then probably we will try to learn. They're
Yeah. So
saying.
probably they'll be having. I mean, of course, they could have joined this session too. Like because you should. I mean, the same thing what they had, you'll be also should be having before this introduction part, right? So you would.
Yeah.
So now you got a clear picture, like how we are going to proceed with, right? So
Yeah.
yeah. Anyways, you just talk to your friends.
Yeah.
I mean, if they are actually, I mean, give your feedback to them, and let's see like how they are getting enrolled.
Yeah, actually, my two of my friends are really interested in it, but they said they just told me like since they just told me first you finish the course, then we will like no once I get the job and stuff, they want to start the same thing. That's what they're saying at the
Oh,
minute.
so that will be a long process actually.
Long time, yeah. They want
Yeah.
to see the
So
experience of
that
my.
at that time,
Ex-
we may not know like how the technologies will be actually getting into, and you will be
Yeah,
actually getting deployed in a good, I mean, company. Then after that, if they come for the learning purpose, at that time, the schedule or the thing what we are actually doing now, right? So maybe it may be differing, right? So probably you can actually work, or I mean, we are not actually forcing or we are not exaggerating
yeah, yeah,
ourselves, right? But we just want to help the people who are actually eagerly, I mean, seeking for a good technical stuff and good hands-on.
yeah,
So, so we will actually, I mean, in the post session, what we are actually going to have, you'll be actually coming across, and you'll be getting the feel of like how the hands-on goes on. Okay.
yeah,
So, having said that, so probably you can actually discuss with your mates,
yeah,
and you can share your feedback, like how the introduction session was there, and
yeah.
then you can connect to Narendra, so he can add to the group, and they can also come and join, and we'll be having lots of fun, technical fun, as well as lots of hands-on. Anyways, these
Okay.
kind of looping and DevOps life cycle can also be explained to them when then session starts, so no worries about that. So yeah, so you can just
Okay.
inform them, or get interactive with them today, and post the update to Narendra and the group.
Yes. Yeah. So one more thing is
Sure.
like the trainings will be like so we'll be having say on weekends we'll be having 2 hour sessions per day. Okay. So which is like 2 hours. You know, if we even we can have 3 hours, but I don't think it is productive or effective. So I would say 2 hours is okay for a day. Okay. And weekdays it will be like 1 hour or 1.5 hour session. Okay. So
Yeah.
then we'll be having some assignments from Bala. So please cooperate and try to finish the assignments so that you'd be able to move on to next topics. Okay. And on every day, right, I will be recording the session and I will be sharing the recordings with you. And you can download the sessions from Zoom Cloud. Okay. So there are some limitations in Zoom Cloud, so you can download the recordings, but please don't share it directly with your peers. Okay. I mean, even you can share it like they would not be able to concentrate or understand. Even I mean, they have to attend the live session, so that only, right? They would be able
Yeah.
to really, I mean, understand with the flow what we are doing right now. Okay, so the recording is for like instead of sharing the PPT or something, right? So recordings, right? You can, if you have any doubts, you can refer the recordings, and I mean, for any commands or anything, something like that, right? You can refer and you can work on your assignments. So that's one of the reason we are sharing the recording. Okay. So I will also share this recording like introduction session. Maybe if any of your friends are interested, they can see this introduction session. so that I mean, if they are really interested, they can join us. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Bola. Thanks for your time, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks,
you.
Nandya. Thanks, Pooja.
Thanks.
So
Thank
let's meet up in the next
Thanks,
session.
Bala. Thanks, Naren. Both. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.